Hello and welcome to Take a Wander with Shebs. Now today is a look back at my talk with Ravi Prabhu. I spoke to Ravi live on my Instagram on May the 16th, 2020, and he talked to me about his desire to visit all the countries in the world. He was stuck on 186 at the time. These are some of his pictures from his journeys. Sit back and enjoy. Ravi, how's it going?
Very good, man. Very good.
How's Virginia?
Virginia is good, man. Virginia is good. Suddenly it's so hot. I don't know why. It was super duper cool, and then the temperatures have soared up now.
I want to go back to is sort of like your early life. So you were in India, you were growing up. Did you have the opportunity through education? How did you grow up in India?
In India, on educational basis, if you happen to be somebody from the middle class in India, the education is good. The opportunities are good. So, I mean, I've had decent education. I mean, like any other person. I didn't go to IITs or IIMs or anything of that sort. But yeah, decent education, decent upbringing. And my parents, I wouldn't say they were well off, but they were okay to do. Let's say above the median, right?
Okay,
Middle class above the median. So we had a fair amount, I mean, decent life. I wouldn't say luxurious life or wow life, but decent life. It's not like we were struggling for food or anything, you know.
yeah.
Maybe that sounds like a good story if you say, oh, there's no food and all, but that isn't the case. So all good. And then you dream so much, like the middle class dreams. But I mean, I never thought I would be able to realize those dreams. So looking back, honestly, very happy, you know.
Like my upbringing, so my parents moved across. So my dad and my mom moved across to England in the early 80s.
Mm.
So in terms of opportunities, there wasn't much of an opportunity for someone with a different background at that time, especially with like my dad or my mom. I mean, the English was non-existent at the time, so they had to learn their way. So we struggled. So when I was born, we lived into, I don't know what they call it in America, but we call it like council houses and stuff. So we were living in what would you call it, like state?
It's government funded houses,
Yeah, government.
social housing or something like that. It's
Right,
called.
is that what you call it? Right, so yeah. So for
Yeah.
us, we were living in one of those for years and years and years. So opportunity-wise, growing up as a kid, though, you don't realize, what's going on. You're sort of just living life. And for yourself, what I was trying to get at was, in a life in India, though, is it set in stone for you, or do you have dreams and you can sort of fulfill your dreams? Because you hear stories that people say, "Oh, no, I want you to be a doctor or lawyer or whatever," the generic stuff.
So life in the West, now that I live here, is easy. If you want to be a doctor, you can be a doctor. It's not that hard. But in countries like India, at least while I was growing up, not everybody can become a doctor. You can dream, but there are limited medical colleges. Things have changed now, a lot more private colleges. If you have money, you can become a doctor. But earlier, in my entire state of Andhra Pradesh, which was Andhra and Telangana together, big state. It was the fifth biggest state in the country. And then there were only 1,000 medical seats, 1,000
Mm.
people, only 1,000 seats, only 1,000 people a year could join the medical course. And about 100,000, 200,000 people take the exam. So a minute percent of it only can get through. So there's severe competition. Even IITs, right? The standards of these IITs are super, super high, something like Harvard and Stanford. But then what percentage can get in there? But in the US, it's relatively easy. If you want to do something, it's attainable, you know. For a vast majority in any developing country, I'm not saying you can't attain goals. Of course you can, but the percentage is smaller and the struggle is harder, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. So even in Bangladesh, let's say, I mean, because it's such an overpopulated country,
Mm.
not everybody has the means, right? I mean, we look at the top 1% and 2% say, oh, wow, we can make a lot of money in Bangladesh. That's
Mm.
because you're looking at the top 2%, right?
Of course.
In Dhaka, somebody tells me, oh, this guy is so rich, he can buy all of America. Yes, but how many people of that sort do you see in Dhaka or the subcontinent anyway, right? So, I mean, somehow I feel like the Western standards are different. In England, people say, oh, I'm stressed because I don't have a paycheck and all. But everybody has a car, everybody has a decent house. When I say everybody, I'm talking about the vast majority.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
converse. So, I mean, I think being a middle class person in America or England is different than being, that's how I feel.
The impact it's going to have on tourism. So the airline industry, 90% of flights aren't flying at the minute. What's the airline industry going to look like?
You think it's only 90%? You think it's only 90% that's not
Well,
flying or more?
uh,
I
well,
haven't looked at the statistics, but I'm just curious. I mean, if you did.
I've got a friend in the airline industry, and they were saying, he was saying that it was around about 90%. That probably that was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know whether that's changed now, but you know, you look at these companies, like even like Richard Branson asking for a bailout in this country. I think, I mean, he's a billionaire asking for a bailout. And
Man, if you have these 500 flights sitting, imagine the operating expense. I mean, you could be a billionaire. You're losing money like crazy.
exactly, I think what my worry is airline wise, will they start charging more for flights? Will this have an impact on tourism as a whole?
One idea I saw, I'll tell you, they were saying because of this social distancing, let's say you maintain 6 feet, 6 foot social distancing, on the plane, you're sitting on top of each other. There's no
Yeah,
point in having it. So I saw some kind of a proposal. You have a 3 and 3 seats in the aisle in between, a regular plane. They're saying only one person sits in the entire 3 and 3,
yeah,
one here. So if that's the case, obviously the tickets are going to be so damn expensive, and only those that need to travel will travel.
yeah.
Like I would be just. There were many instances I just flew to London because I just felt like the previous day. Went to London and came back on the
Oh,
weekend.
you flew to
I've
London
done
for
it.
this?
Oh, many times, man. I've done this so many times. Yeah. Like this, right? I mean, impetuous decisions. No, no, not now. Earlier.
Oh, right. So okay, I was going to say with
Yeah.
that though. So if that is the case where people can't travel, and they say it's going to be a social distancing within planes, as you said, they're going to up the prices, knowing that
I,
the
I,
seats
I
of the
am
cost.
guessing. I am guessing. If a plane which has a capacity of 300 can only fly 50 people, same fuel charges, same flight
Exactly,
attendants, same safety
exactly.
standards, that's going to be bad. I don't know. I mean,
But
it's going to be bad.
as an industry, though, the tourism industry, this is what I'm saying. Will it survive? That's the issue. So my worry is it's going to be at least potentially until maybe next year where we could all travel properly, unless, of course, a vaccine came from somewhere, and because otherwise we're just going to be staying still. We'd have to travel within our own countries, wouldn't we? So this is the worry I've got in terms of the travel industry. So for yourself, for example, you want to go see the last remaining 9 countries. It might not be until, I don't know, potentially the
Next year,
following year.
maybe. Nothing lasts forever. You
Yeah,
know, we have seen so many pandemics and epidemics like smallpox, measles, right? I mean, bad plague. All those things are gone, right?
no, yeah, yeah,
Smallpox was a huge thing in India. I mean, before we were born. Now we don't even hear of smallpox.
yeah,
Same thing with
yeah.
malaria, right? So that's what I'm saying. Everything has to go some point or other. It's nothing but a resetting of a clock. That's what I think. But how bad the clock resets is what we need to know. I mean, when you talk about the tourism industry, I don't think it's going to be the same. Imagine how many hotels out there.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I struggle to find a hotel in Mumbai, a nice hotel or something, while I travel. They are literally empty, right? We're talking about a gazillion, billion hotel rooms that are empty. So people, I mean, how do all this cleaning staff survive? All these security guards survive? I don't know. It's gonna be. It's much bigger than what it seems like right now. Is what I feel.
The smaller hotels, hostels. I've got a friend who runs a hostel in Panama. They're not in business at the minute, so they can't afford to employ the staff. They have
So
to
they're
make them
gone.
redundant. So again, it has that spiral effect, domino effect, doesn't it? Where it's
Yeah.
like a knock-on effect. You're not going to be able to see. I mean, again, when it's back up and running, whether these hotels stay, or whether these hotels go, or whether these tour companies come and go, that's the other thing. So it could be, as I said to you before, for an average traveller or an average holiday maker, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be a real struggle before we see anything. So this is the thing, you see. So will it be a case where they might just say, you know what, if you want to fly, obviously you'd have to maybe have a certificate or some sort of antibodies.
That's a definite. Even if the virus were to be gone, the fear in people's minds wouldn't go away. As long as there's fear, you would have all kinds of restrictions. And then, for example, I'm an overseas citizen of India, which means I have every right an Indian has to go to India, except I think I can't buy agricultural property, can't participate in elections. Those are the only two restrictions, right? So I can live there, I can study there, I can work there just like any other Indian. But then they suspended that part as well for all the NRIs. And visits from NRIs are banned. Only Indians with an Indian passport can visit India now. So the restrictions of this sort will. I mean, would it really? The disease doesn't know of an Indian or an American or an NRI. So if somebody living in America, an Indian passport holder goes back to India, it's 100% the same risk as I going to India, right? But I mean, people need to have some kind of thing that makes people comfortable. But is it going to stop? I don't think so. Right, but these kinds of restrictions are only going to get worse. I mean, like every time you go to Africa, you carry this yellow fever certificate. Remember?
Yes, South America as well. You need to carry that yellow fever certificate.
No, not in South America.
Well, look, when I went to Peru and a couple of places, I think it was in Peru, they said you need to carry the.
No, I went to Peru a few times. Never had yellow. Only in Africa, so far.
For some reason, when I went to South America, they told us here before I left, I need to get a yellow fever.
Maybe it's a travel agency. They just want you to be safe and stuff. But it's not a government restriction. I never carried one. I traveled to almost all South American countries and Central American countries. Never had a yellow certificate. But in Africa, other than the northern Arab, I mean Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, not those, but sub-Saharan Africa, you need a yellow fever certificate.
Okay, I wasn't too sure. I know when I went to Africa a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, they didn't ask me for a yellow fever certificate. I went through Namibia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana. They said you didn't need anything, which is a bizarre thing. But
there are so many, man. I mean, I can't pinpoint one. A lot of people got upset with me because I was walking with these lions and they thought the lions were drugged. I don't know if they're drugged or not. For me, it was truly an incredible experience walking with 4 wild lions, fully grown. That was truly an incredible experience. And I have made videos and stuff. There's always this 5% intelligentsia or intellectuals, they are always against anything. They are ready to eat meat, kill chicken and goats, but talking about animal rights because I'm just walking with a lion. But anyway, so that was truly an incredible experience for me.
Where was that? Where was that?
In Zambia.
Oh, Zambia. Okay.
And I mean, it's like goosebumps all through. I spent about 1 to 1.5 hours. 4 fully grown sexually active lions. I'm like, wow, right? I don't know what it is, but in your mind, you're like, damn, all I had was a stick to distract it. Then they give you some kind of things, never show your back. If a lion looks at you, you gaze at it, something like that. You don't bend your head. You can't show weakness to it. When you show weakness, it attacks you. Even when you watch these safari jungles and stuff, right? When a lion were to attack a buffalo and the buffalo charges, the lion takes back, right? Takes a step back. So things like this, but it's very, very thrilling. And I've also been a real live volcano. I've been to many volcanoes, but this volcano in a country called Vanuatu. Vanuatu is northeast of Australia in these Pacific Islands. It's an actual volcano, maybe 4 or maybe 10 feet max. The crater is not too deep. You can see the sputtering lava. It's going up and the whole earth shuddering. That's got to be a truly incredible experience, right? Those two I can think of to ask. I mean,
well, the volcano one is something that I really want to go see. I've not.
Did you see my post on my gallery? There's a little video, like 10-second video of actually. Maybe you could check it out later.
Is it on Instagram? Is it on the IGTV section or? No,
just regular, right there.
Ah, I have seen that. I didn't realize that was a volcano actually.
Man, so you should open it up and look. I mean, it's like it's an actual volcano. You see this?
Wow. And so you were that close to it.
That close. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you could feel it, sulfur, whatever, all over your face, and the earth was really shuddering and shivering. Man, it was outstanding.
Did you go away thinking, wow, I've just experienced this and I can't believe it? Or do you think to yourself, okay, that's something that I can say I've done? Or what did you get from that?
The pure thrill, right? Like, for example, I'm not into skydiving.
Mm.
I know so many people who are scared of skydiving, but they've overcome the fear by doing it. And the actual act is maybe like 2 minutes when you fall, and then maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, right? But the fear to overcome that takes years.
Oh, yeah,
You understand, right? I mean,
yeah.
like for example, if you ask me at this moment if I would take this chance, you give me $10,000, do I want to do skydiving? I would say no. Even if you
Okay.
pay me $10,000, I'm not willing to do it, or 10,000 pounds, I'm not willing to do it. So if I come to the state where I have to do it, the fear, like same with the lions, right? The whole 2 days I was thinking, should I do it? Should I not do it? Man, what if it attacks? All this thing. And once you get there, it's different, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's the thrill, right? I mean, even when I plan a trip, more than traveling, planning the trip in my mind and the anticipation is more thrilling than the trip. So all my friends ask me, hey, do you use a travel agent to book the flights? Do you use a travel agent to book the hotels? I said, no, I do it all by myself because
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that part more than the travel itself.
Are you going to be writing a book on it? Is this a plan?
No plan.
No plans right
I
now.
mean, see, man, I mean, again, I could be totally wrong from how I feel and what I think. Books and stuff, I don't think anybody, forget books, bloggers. Even bloggers are out of business. Now it's all vlogging.
Hmm.
If I have a video of me narrating my experience and showing you various places of the world, would you rather do that or read through my experience? What would you do? I mean, I'm not saying this is totally out.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
I'm trying to say is a normal person, like let's say we do this chat in terms of writing and we
yeah,
want people to watch it versus we're actually talking, you can put a face to a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
conversation.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
What is more successful?
Can you not sort of marry them both up and sort of it expands, doesn't it? That's
So my experience is even me, right? Only if I plan to travel to some place, then I look for a blog on that place.
okay.
On a day-to-day activity, I don't have the time to read through a blog or somebody's experience. For example, in Instagram, I follow a few people. Even if they have a big narrative, I read the first two lines
Yeah,
and skip the rest. Same with me. I put an amazing picture with a big title of where the place is. Half the comments are, hey, where is this?
right. I know what you mean.
What do you say? It says bold, my Norway dairies, Geranger Fort. And they're like, hey, man, amazing place. Where is this?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So that should give you an idea, right? When a person doesn't have the time or the wherewithal to read a sentence, I don't know if somebody would. I have a lot of amazing books, just coffee table books, just for
Yeah,
show. Even I didn't read them. It says amazing destinations in the world. I
yeah,
just sometimes skip. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I personally think even I used to read a lot of books. Now it's so convenient. You have audiobooks. You while you're driving, you can't read, so you listen to the audiobooks. And once you get used to it, you find more. I mean, there is always that little channel or little stream of people that would want to do it. But I personally think it's on the decline. But if your idea is to generate money, and I see these vloggers in India and all over,
hmm.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, today I saw some vlogger, he was fixing something at home and he had like 200,000 views in 6 hours or something. So I don't know. I mean, and that generates a lot of money. It's not like you're doing for
Of course.
nothing. And what's the effort that's taken? All you need is a nice studio, a decent camera. That's it. You're talking. If I have to do a blogger versus vlogger, maybe 10 years ago things were different. I think now people are into video watching than reading. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I'm sure it's not on the SN. It's only on the decline. Even
That's
if
it.
it's 1%. You agree with me?
Oh, you're seeing it now with people videoing. This is new as well. You know, this between someone from America and someone from England, two travelers. This is new. This is
Yeah.
a whole different level. So this might take off in the next 5 years.
No,
Where
I think it has already taken off, man. I actually feel I started a little too late. I had amazing content. I've always been a traveler last 10 years. So, and I'm looking at the statistics, and now I started vlogging, and the response is very good. I'm not saying it's bad. From where I started, 4 months, 5 months, I have 10,000 subscribers. I've gotten like 600,000 views in total. Not bad. But I mean, I was thinking if I started 3 years ago, when
Yeah.
this was nascent, there was nobody. But better late than never. So I think it's already, I wouldn't say it wouldn't grow. Of course it would grow because all these bloggers are becoming vloggers, and everybody that was used to reading is now watching.
Give it a few more years.
Yeah.
I reckon the norm would be video. So I mean, I've seen bloggers do videos now, and that's
And,
the main
and
thing.
even the bloggers now, it was purely text. Now you see a little video, a little
Video,
picture, a
yeah.
little snippet. It's changing. It's transforming, and I think, I mean, everything has its shelf life, and then
Of
you have
course,
to move on.
I think also you were talking about how people don't read your let's just say place where you are.
Caption, yeah.
So the people are getting more and more lazy in some respects.
Oh,
So
possible.
so so the videos may have to be shorter and shorter. So you capture that because I've noticed when I post something, and if it's a short video, you get more views straight away. But if it's a longer video, people can't bother to watch it. It's too long.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. I mean, unless the content is really gripping
Yeah.
and you can relate to the content. I mean, even I posted my most recent video is 18 minutes, and the average YouTube gives you all the statistics.
Yeah.
The average is like 6 minutes or 8 minutes, which means, I mean, bulk of them they get bored. Even me, right?
Yeah.
I'm watching a song on YouTube. I see something else. You don't even play the entire song. You switch to the next one. That's the
Yeah.
mentality. So I mean, and since the content is so much and these videos keep pouring in, and it's very hard to hold somebody's attention for 20 minutes unless it's really interesting. Since
Absolutely.
it was a Pakistan video, those who are really interested in the topic, I'm sure must have watched it. But 6 minutes out of an 18-minute video, that's the average. So what do you say about it?
Whilst you've been traveling, have you made friends that you keep in touch with now? There must have been people that you've met along the way.
Lots and lots of friends. This is the problem again. Same thing, right? Let's say when you visit a country, I recently went to Nigeria, right?
Okay, yeah.
The first month you keep in touch a lot. But if Nigeria were to be the only country I visit, and I don't visit any other place ever,
Yeah.
we would stay constantly in touch, talk and all that. But even that changes, sadly. How many people can I stay in touch with within these 24 hours? So now that I've been to a lot of countries, let's say on average, I know 5 people from a country. That's 1,000 people. Can you stay in touch with 1,000 people actively every day?
Absolutely. Well, this is the thing.
So
I think the best way, social media is a brilliant way of keeping in touch in that sense. So you post something, or you message something, or you put a post. Easily they can see.
Yeah, but even that, right? That changes. Like, let's say they have newer friends from Nigeria newer friends that visited Nigeria. The attention span changes. It's not the same. So initially, I remember 10 years ago, man, I made amazing friends, call each other, talk with each other, write to each other. That's not the same anymore. I mean, you have a shelf life again. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. That's it.
Yeah, of course,
Even from your standard, right? Let's say I visited Pakistan. I was keeping in touch with all these Pakistani Instagrammers and all that. After Pakistan, I went to Saudi Arabia, I went to Iraq, I went to Afghanistan, all these places. It's a little hard to keep in touch with all those friends from Pakistan. When you have new people pouring in, and also in your mind, you were curious about Pakistan. You had all these questions for Pakistanis. Now they're all solved. It's like a solved puzzle.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? While there's an intention, it feels good to hear occasionally. You can't really indulge in chit chat every single day.
You meet quite a lot of people, but obviously the ones that you stay in touch with, there's going to be a minute few. So
Exactly.
potentially over the last 10 years, I've made maybe 20 good friends that I keep in touch with regularly and find out how they're doing things. But as you're right, you're saying I've met literally thousands of people, but it does become very difficult to keep in touch with 1,000 people. I mean, every now and again you'll see a message, you'll see something, and they'll post something, or you'll message back, and that keeps that interaction going, which is good. But as I said, you physically, and you just don't have the time to be. Otherwise, you'd be doing no jobs, no nothing. You just can't. But what I was trying to get at was that you must have made some real good close friends in terms of one or two, three or four that you think,
Yes,
I
yes.
can.
Yes, I did, and I observed that even these people, even the folks that we're talking about who have gotten quite close, everybody has their own life. Very close, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, and then it's a downward curve, right? They have new
Of course,
people,
yeah.
they have new things to do. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's I don't know. Many times I'm sad leaving a place, thinking this is it, maybe never. So I met an amazing friend in Lagos, in Nigeria.
Oh
I was
yeah,
in Nigeria in January, this January, 3 months
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
The guy, he took off time. He wasn't going to work. He literally stayed with me the entire 4 days or 5 days I spent in Lagos, right?
oh yeah,
And then he messages me many times and say, "Hey, Ravi, you don't have time for me. You don't even message." I'm like, man, it's not because I don't want to. It's because I don't have the time. Every day
yeah,
you
yeah,
go
yeah.
to your inbox, there are like 500, 600 messages, and people get
Wow.
upset and unfollow saying, "Hey, how come?" And say, "Oh, you don't even reply." I mean, how can I possibly reply 600 messages of hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, have you had lunch? Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Most of the mess,
that was
most
saying,
of the messages, most of the messages are hi, and say hi, hello, hello, how are you? How are you? I mean, it's good, right? I mean, the intention is pure. They want to keep in touch. I'm not blaming it. But how can I possibly
Of course,
respond
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
600 messages every day?
Of course, yeah. Well,
So
you've got
people think it's ego or attitude, but it's none of them.
no,
It's
no, no.
just
Of
the
course,
lack of time
it says yeah.
and
Of
lack of
course,
energy.
you've got like 115,000 followers on Instagram alone. That's a lot of people that might be messaging you saying, hi, how are you, this and that. It's just impossible to reply back to all those messages, isn't it?
So nowadays, I stopped opening them because when you open, they get even more agitated. Oh, he saw my message and he's not responding. At least when you don't open it, it's like, oh, he hasn't read it. Better.
I see.
Right?
Yeah, I get what you
So
mean.
it's hard. I mean, you may be missing some important messages too. Like some youth forum in India, they invited me to speak to a bunch of 700 people, but I don't know. I mean, but it's good. I mean, at least I get this little attention, which I wasn't getting before. I'm happy about it. But would I travel all the way to India to lecture or speak to a forum of 700 people? I don't know. But I mean, it's good.
How did you grow your following? Is it just purely from traveling, or?
So what happens is, so this is what I observed, right? It's very hard. I see some people just posting a muscle picture every day. They
Yeah,
have a big following. The same person, same shirtless picture, same muscle, right? And then I've seen some people like, so for me, what happened is to get traction, I was posting one picture from one country with change tags every single day. So let's say I post a picture from Norway, you get 5 Norway followers. The next
right,
day you post a picture from Greece, you get 5 new Greek followers.
right, right,
And
right, right.
so that's how I grew up my Instagram account. And I don't know, it got stagnant. I'm not sure. I see people like 500,000 followers and me being one of the most traveled Indians. I mean, top 3, top 4, whatever it is, with a
Yeah,
big country. I don't know why I can't, why I'm unable to grow. I don't know. Maybe I have to seriously look into it. But overall, that's how it initially grew. I mean, if I post a picture of me in front of my house every single day, I'm not sure if I could
no, no,
increase
no,
my
no,
following.
no.
So that's a methodology I used, right? And my Instagram was going by leaps and bounds until last year. Each post was getting 10,000, 11,000 likes and 600 comments and stuff. I don't know what happened in the second half of 2019. It's not me. A lot of people have complained. Some kind of arithmetic or algorithm
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah. Algorithm. Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
it's crashed, man. It's crashed.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Same thing.
I
I was supposed
stopped
to say,
posting for 3 months because I mean when you are used to so much response 11,000, 10,000 plus, and suddenly it's barely doing 3,000 and 4,000, you lose interest, you know.
when I first started growing quite a lot, it was like 2018. For some
Yeah.
bizarre reason, 2019 it just dropped and the interactions just dropped. I don't know whether and it was to do with the algorithm. I think just Instagram
I
just
I,
changed the
I
algorithm.
I'm thinking algorithm because every post I go right, I put like 10 hashtags.
Yeah,
When I check that post, all 10 hashtags, if you go to the hashtag, mine is always the top performing picture.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
All of 2019, the first half of 2019, second half of 2018. After that, I don't even see my hashtags doing. I mean, they changed something. I'm not sure what it
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
because
Absolutely.
overnight it can drop from 10,000, 11,000 to 4,000. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
it's not like I'm making money off Instagram. I'm making money off YouTube or I'm dependent, so I don't care. But I'm just saying, I mean, because of the discussion,
of
and
course.
also people come and ask me, hey man, a friend of mine has been to 20 countries and he's already a local celebrity. And you've
Yeah,
been to
yeah,
186. What's up with you? I said, I don't know, but we'll
of
fix
course.
it. Well, I mean,
Um,
it's always like people have to know you. I mean, once they know,
of
I mean,
course. Yeah,
hey.
yeah, yeah. So how do you fund your travels as well?
So far, I did have a lot of promotional offers. People ask me, "Hey, can you travel with us for 5 days and showcase our culture, showcase our?" But so far, I have not accepted a single promotion.
Okay,
All
okay.
my travels are self-funded so far,
Okay, okay, okay.
right? So, did it cost money? Yes, lots and lots of money.
Do you have sponsors yet? So you've not taken any sponsors? No, no
I've not
promotions.
taken
No.
any sponsors so far. Like I got a sponsor from Iran. They said I have to do 11 days. I don't have 11 days, man. That's the problem, right? If somebody sponsors you, you have to stay where they ask you to stay. You have to
Yeah,
travel where they. I mean, so it's little. I mean, it's. But if I were to be a full-time traveler, I don't have a family, I don't have a job, I don't have a career. Yes, you pay for me. I'm going to travel with you
of
lifelong,
course,
but
of
I
course,
can't do
absolutely.
that. So that's why even if somebody were to sponsor, and if I have to accept it, it has to be on my terms, and nobody would do that.
I see,
So
I see.
so far, everything is self-funded.
Self-funded, yeah.
I don't think I accepted any sponsor. I cannot think of any right now. And then did it cost a lot of money? Yes, it costed a lot of money. And why
Hmm.
do I spend so much money? Because it's my passion, man. What's the point in living if you can't pursue your passion, right?
Absolutely. And
If
someone's
you're a
asked,
dancer, you should be dancing. If you're a traveler, you should be traveling. Okay.
so what are you looking for, looking from your social presence?
I mean, I honestly, what I'm looking from a social presence is to disseminate the information that I have.
Mm.
Primarily, that's it. And to share my travels so many people have this aspiration to travel the world and they cannot. So if you see my narratives, it's not just me posing and saying, hey, I'm here with this beautiful car. I write at least 10, 15 lines. I mean, it's like a mini blog. Each of my posts has at least 10 to 15 lines of narrative. It's sharing my experiences, sharing my travels, and to convey the message that while we are fighting over nifty things, we're all one and the same at the end of the day. And that's what I wanna do. And initially it crossed many times in my mind. If I can grow a huge travel presence, right? And whatever money I can make, I thought maybe I can donate it to different charities
Yeah,
and not make money off it. So that's my intent. I mean, if nobody would be donating everything they have, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not like, hey, somebody asked me this question, how come you travel for this aggrandizement or self ego? Instead, why don't you give that money to a charity every time
Mm.
instead of traveling? It's easier to say, but we can't do it,
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
right?
Also,
So yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So what I was trying to say is like if I can uh, grow my social presence enormously, and then I could say somebody asked me to sponsor something. Let's say, hey Ravi, why don't you sponsor my water? I say, okay. Why don't you give $1,000 in charity to this people that don't have water?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
yes, I'll sponsor. Something of that sort is running on my mind.
Okay,
My
okay.
intention is not really to make money for myself, but that's the thing. Let's see.
In terms of your work, then, what is it that you do that funds all your
I
travels?
mean,
Because
I
it's an expensive habit, isn't it? Traveling, as I found out.
Yeah. So people ask me often what I do. I'm a consultant. I do some kind of management. So it's like management consulting. So I make decent money. And then it's always, right? Like, how do I explain? I have friends who make decent money as well. Their priority is to buy one house, another house, another house,
Yeah,
another house. My priority isn't that, right? I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah,
depends. And some people want to buy 10 bikes, 10 cars. So priorities are different. And so my priorities are different. So I wouldn't say I'm like starving or anything. I make
yeah. Hmm.
decent. I'm not a rich guy, super rich guy, but I'm decent. So I make enough money wherein, and also travel is not a compulsive addiction
Yeah.
wherein I have to borrow money, steal money, rob money, and then go travel. So within my means, within my budget, I do travel and I do travel quite well. So it's just within my means. That's what I want to say. And I would urge everybody that's watching, if they have this aspiration to travel the world, please make sure you take care of the preliminary things, right? Make sure you have a little saving and you have basic amenities. Don't just have one backpack and travel. That's my opinion. Because at the end of the day, you gotta have something to look
Mm.
back to. Or if there is you lose your leg or hand or something, somebody has to take care of you, right? So first things first, and then you don't have to save all the money you make. maybe take 5%, 10% and travel. That's my recommendation.
That's interesting because a lot of people out there will just literally take a backpack and water, and that's it. They're on the road, and that's how they travel. That's how they go by.
Which is good. Which is good. Don't get me wrong. But once you finish that 5 years or 4 years of backpacking and traveling, when you come back, you need to survive as well, right?
Of course,
so I don't know.
Yes.
It's a fine line. It's a question of priority. In my case, I'd rather be at some stable level and then travel, rather than totally be unstable but then travel. Because I met a guy in Bolivia. So we went to this place Salar de Uyuni, the white salt flats.
Yeah.
People jump. So I went there, and then this person was saying, "Damn man, I have $8 in my bank." And then he has to buy a bus ticket that evening. He bought the ticket or something. He had to pay extra. Then I asked him, "How do you survive, man, when you reach the destination?" So I mean, I wouldn't want to be in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Right. But it's to each their own. I mean.
Absolutely. I think I've met quite a lot of people that have traveled, and they've literally had nothing, and they were staying with people, favors, meals here and there. I guess it's just one of those things where you could either do it one way, your way, which is having a job, making sure you're fully funded and you know what you're doing, or you could do it the other way, where you've got no money, no jobs, just literally going from place to place to place, maybe pick up a job here and there, bar job, or I don't know, cleaning something or whatever to survive. And I think for me, it's in between. I couldn't just do it where I had nothing. I have to have some sort of funding where I knew I was able to go from place to place to place, and I knew there was enough funding for it.
Someone recently visited from Spain and messaged me on Instagram, and I was in Washington, D.C. that day. They were like, "Hey, can you show me around Washington, D.C.?" I said, "Okay, I'm free. Let me finish my gym." And then I picked them up and then went with them a night tour of Washington, D.C. in my car. And then when I dropped them, they were in a hostel. So I went inside to drop them. And that's when I saw a few people from Brazil and a few people from Turkey. There's some kind of voluntary work or whatever. You work in the hostel. The hostel gives you space and gives you little money. And then you're doing that for 6 months or whatever, but you get to stay and work and travel, something like that. I thought it was interesting. Would I do that? No.
When this is all over, first place you want to go to
Turkmenistan, but I don't think I'll get a visa to Turkmenistan because it's like a North Korea of Asia, totally guarded, and they wouldn't want an influx of tourists, right? But I mean, man, it's slim pickings. There are only 9 remaining.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know what
the
to
thing.
do. But I was thinking of something else. There are a lot of Caribbean countries, like 11 or 10. I cannot remember the number. Like Saint Kitts and Nevis, Saint Lucia, Barbados, Dominica, things like this. I traveled to all these places 10, 11 years ago. All I have is a picture in front of a palm tree, in front of a beach. I can't even tell which one is what. So I was thinking I would spend 10 days or 11 days, hop to one island every day.
That's
what I was thinking. And that's easy as well. I mean, it's expensive because these intra-island flights, are very expensive. But I thought I wanted to do it because I don't have enough footage. If somebody asked me, "What did you do in St. Kitts and Nevis?"
Of course.
Blank, sat in a resort. I mean, so that's why I want to do one island a day and travels through these 10 islands for 10 days. That's the plan. Probably I'll do that because, I mean, when countries open up, it's easy for me to get there. Absolutely. I don't need a visa. So, but I really wanted to complete in 2020 all countries. But now it's a far-fetched dream. Maybe 2011, 2021.
What one place would you go back to again and again?
One place again and again and again?
Yeah.
Man, it sounds like a doctored answer, but it's India, man. It's the country. Yeah, but it's not because I'm Indian. I mean, it's so much in India to do, If I were to go to Turkmenistan, I'm sure I would spend 5 days, 10 days. After that, what? What is in Turkmenistan that I can see, right? Versus, how much can you see in India or in the USA? USA is quite vast. You have everything. Absolutely. You have everything in the USA. You go to you go to Bolivia to experience Salar de Uyuni, the white salt flats. And then in Salt Lake City in Utah, you have the exact same thing. Nobody even knows of it.
Yeah. So,
have you ever heard of the white sand desert? White desert. There is a huge desert which is totally powdered white sand. It's called
Okay.
the White Sand Monument. It's in New Mexico in the US. After this
Okay.
call, just look it up. It's like, wow, and I have not been there.
That's another thing actually. Would you not want to do more of America or more of the States and
No,
see more?
I have actually been to 48 states of the 50
Oh,
in
you've actually
America.
right. Okay. So you've been to quite a lot.
But I have not been to this. I went to the capital of New Mexico, which is Albuquerque, because I was working as a consultant before. I got to travel every week to a different city. But I haven't seen this White Sands Monument, which is
Okay.
quite far. And when I see pictures, it's unbelievable. Powdered white sand like you see in the beach, and that's a desert.
Wow. And that's a desert. Wow.
I watch one movie a day every evening, and some days like Friday, it's 2 movies back to back. And now, while I knew little of Tamil and Malayalam and all that, now I'm getting fluent watching these Tamil movies and Malayalam movies. It feels good, I can understand. I don't need subtitles anymore. Like for majority of it, 70-80%, I can understand Tamil now, Malayalam now. Feels good. And I watched one Hindi movie, Malang, and some people did not have good reviews, but I absolutely loved it. If you were to watch Hindi, do you watch Hindi movies?
I used to watch quite a lot of Bollywood movies. That's how I learnt my Hindi, actually.
I see.
So I've not seen. Some of the movies I've not seen many for a while, but I know in the past a lot of it was all love stories and stuff. But I think they've changed it up a little bit, haven't they? Now where there's different types of stories.
It's a wide variety, man. It's not small variety. And then you should watch this movie Malang.
Okay.
I totally loved it. Do you watch any South Indian movies? You don't understand, I guess.
South Indian itself is not the same. Similar sort of.
Oh, very different.
Is it different?
No,
I probably won't be able to understand it then.
No commonality.
Okay.
But it's the thing. I realized, like you could watch a Korean movie with subtitles, right? But it's not the same thing. It's not the subtitles that's the issue.
No.
It's you relating to that content, right? Like if you're a Bollywood fan, you probably may not like the South Indian. I don't know. I mean, like earlier, I was only watching South Indian movies, never cared for Hindi movies because I wasn't able to relate to it. Things change. So that maybe you wouldn't like the South Indian movies. I don't know. But you should try it. Try it once or twice. Amazing movies. And South India makes more movies than Bollywood.
Of course.
South India is a lot of states. Yeah. I mean, you have Kannada movies, Telugu, Tamil, and Malayalam together. Maybe it's double of Bollywood.
Who was the most famous actor for? Is it what's his name?
Rajinikanth. He's a Tamilian, but in Telugu it's Chiranjeevi. It used to be. Now you have a new generation. So.
And obviously Shah Rukh Khan's obviously the biggest in Bollywood itself.
Not the biggest, one of the biggest.
I mean, you had Amitabh Bachchan was big, but he's older, isn't he? But actually Shah Rukh Khan is getting quite old himself. Actually, he's in his 50s now, isn't he?
Yeah, more than 50 plus. I'm
50
sure.
plus now.
But that's what I'm saying, right? The world doesn't end, man. The old generation that goes and the new generation comes in. They're amazing new actors now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So soon we'll be wearing contacts and walking sticks, and then you have a whole generation talking about this, and they look at you and say, "Oh, old man, what do you know? What have you seen?" What do you say then, right?
Well, Ravi,
great, man.
Thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to wherever you go next, and we'll hopefully see it.
Sure. And please stay in touch, and then we'll talk again maybe in a few months.
Take care. Bye-bye.
It was great talking to Ravi, and if you'd like to see when he conquers all the countries in the world, you can do so by following him on his social media handles. The information are on your screen now.
That's it for Take a Wonder, Shebs. Hope to see you all very soon. Until next time, bye for now.